Hello students, I welcome you all to a current affair lectures by Azad ICS Academy, and today we are going to study the current affairs of 8th of February. So let us see the first important article that we have, that is technology and challenge of equitable education. So see, hence we have seen that there is a lot of technological development, but with this technological development, there is a lot of inequality as well. There are some people who have access to all this education. There are some people who are not having access to this particular education and technology. So let us see what is this all about. The expansion of digital technology in rural India, especially post-COVID, has improved education accessibility. However, challenges remain equitable learning and effective digital integration. See, we have seen that in COVID, what happened here is a lot of rural areas also were getting this digital education. It's good, but still it is not properly distributed across the country properly. Okay, there is a lot of people who are not able to effectively integrate this digital process. So let us see what is the education trends that have been there. Okay, in 90s and early 2000s saw a large scale expansion of education in India, right? So, but the results from national worldwide annual status of education reports, okay, of that time show increased enrollment and infrastructure development also. So we have seen that there is a lot of people who are getting enrolled in education and also infrastructure development. However, the learning levels remain unchanged despite more children going to school. Even though many children are going to school, see what has happened here is the people are not going to, or children are not going to school just for learning purpose. We have a lot of other schemes like midday meals and Sarva Siksha Abhiyan and all of that. And because they are getting a food to eat, and that is the reason also a lot of children are going to school. Even though the number of people who are getting enrolled in the school are higher, the infrastructure development is happening, but still the quality of education that is being given is not that better, right? Meanwhile, digital technology, phones and computers were gaining more importance. Okay, so we'll let us see what is the impact of this particular COVID and digital learning. The digital revolution in India truly gained momentum during the COVID pandemic. Okay, the data also shifts shows that increase in smartphone usage in the rural household. Before pandemic in 2018, you see that a lot of people were not, nearly 90% of the household, you had a simple phone, mobile phones. That is the one which have buttons and not the smart ones. Okay, and 36% had smartphones. Okay, in 2022, the proportion of households with the smartphones has risen up to 74%. And according to the other report, that is reports of 2024, ASER report 2024, it has grown further up to 84% this year, while the percentage of children who have access to smartphones at home are nearly saturated. The proportion of children aged between 14 to 16 have their own smartphones has risen from 19% to 31% just within the year. You can see how the people have started using smartphones. It is not clear. Okay, however, the learning levels remain unchanged despite more children going to school. Okay, that we have understood. The usage of smartphone for education. So now we have to understand that the smartphones were mainly used during the pandemic to access worksheets, video classes, online classes, etc. This is why this particular virtual training sessions were there. Okay, the virtual training sessions became common for the students and the teachers. Even after the pandemic, the digital skills during the time have been continued to be useful. However, it remains unclear whether mothers of young children over smartphones, which is more important, supporting children or no, right? So we have a lot of opportunities also here. We need to understand that. Okay, a significant opportunity lies in open and continuing education for unprivileged communities. Even if the community is very unprivileged also, we can still give this kind of education. This is something that we need to understand. Many mothers of school children have little education. So let us assume that if my mother does not know how to use a smartphone, automatically I will not be able to use it properly because maybe I am not getting teach properly. Over 40% of them have no schooling or have studied less than class 5. Okay, another 40% have completed up to class 6 to 10, and remaining of them have finished class 10. Educating mothers would enhance the ability to support their children learn and make it valuable market. Just not giving a smartphone to a mother or a kid. It is very important that we also educate that particular mother who is, using this particular smartphone for their kids. Okay. Challenges in digital learning for an unprivileged. So what are the challenges that we have? Despite a lot of multiple technology advancement, education for unprivileged has not significantly improved. See, education is only for those people who are rich, who are having money. But for the people who are unprivileged, still this education is not that better for them. The major barrier has been available for the personal device. However, there are data that suggests that the smartphone owner is increasing, reducing its limitation. More families may find it easier to purchase a second-hand phone in the near future as well. Now, we also have a language barrier. Breaking language barrier in education. See, hardware has become more accessible and language barrier is decreasing. So we can see that in WhatsApp, you can send a message in Kannada or in Hindi or in Marathi. And similarly, you can also search, do a lot of Google Translate. So language is not a barrier anymore because of this particular, hardware that we have. Local languages dictation and translation tools have made it very easier. And the challenges remain in guiding students on what, where, and how to access these particular resources. For example, if you are itself preparing for UPSC, tell me how much content do you have on UPSC? Is all the content available for free of you? Yes. If it is for free, which content to rely completely on? Which is the best source? So you have so much of confusion, right? So where, what, how to learn is a big question mark, even though if you have all this access, right? Issue with social attendance and learning equality. So, in most children have access to school, attendance remains inconsistent. Villages have a mixed children attending private school, government school, and private classes, while some do not attend school at all. This results have even uneven learning outcomes. During the pandemic, villages in Maharashtra broadcast live programs to students. A similar model could be used in organizing group learning in rural communities as well. So they're just giving you an example of how there was in Maharashtra. What they've done is they have made a broadcast for all the village kids to listen to these classes. So similar kind of things can be done as well. Okay. Evolution of education system that we have to understand. See, every civilization or historically each civilization developed its own education system. Colonialism and globalization integrated these systems because we have seen that how different people have come together and we have seen the education system different. Right? Today's technology and science further connect education system across the countries. So whatever technology we have, whatever you're learning, all this can be easily learned or other country languages you can learn easily because of this technology that we have. Right? However, technology advancements are often driven by profit, limited to availability and unprivileged groups. So again, you can see that this kind of information is not again available to unprivileged people and it is only available to few of them. So what is the conclusion that we need to have here? While hardware has become cheaper, AI and new technologies require higher order devices. So you can't use AI in all the devices. We need higher order devices again. Okay, philanthropic investment might help expand access to educational technology. So maybe we can give a little more investment so that there is a better educational technology. India needs to well-plan strategies in ensuring technology benefits as well. So India need to have a proper strategy so that it ensures there is technology that is available to everybody, right? So this is one of the important article that we have looked into. And the next important article that we have for today here is that is RBI slashes rate by 0.25% to drive growth. So we have to understand that India is trying to do a lot of growth, and because of this, RBI is also trying to reduce or trying to change its rate. Let us see what is it exactly. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India has reduced the repo rate. So they have reduced what? They have reduced the repo rate, okay, by 25 base points, okay, to 6.25, marking the first cut since May 2020. So since May 2020, it is for the first time that they have reduced this particular repo rate. And why they're doing it? So that there is growth. Okay. The chart shows that the repo rate in percentage decide the RBI Monetary Policy Committee between October 19 to February 2025. So you can see in October 19 and to February 2025, what has been the change that we have, right? Now, what is this repo rate cut after 57 months? The decision aimed to boost economic growth. So we have to understand that the economy is growing. To have this economic growth, we have to what? Reduce the repo rate. Okay. Now, expectation of inflation to ease up to 4.4%. So we are expecting the inflation to reduce to 4.4% in this quarter and averaging 4.2% in 25-26. The reduction in the repo rate may lead to lower borrowings cost for home and car and other loans. So what will happen is if the repo rate is reduced, the amount or the rate of interest for a particular loan will also get reduced. So if I want to buy a car, I can go and buy a car right now because repo rate has been reduced. Similarly, I can go and buy a house loan because my rate of interest will get reduced because the repo rate is reduced by the government or RBI. Okay. So what is this particular repo rate? We'll understand that. The repo rate is the interest rate at which the Reserve Bank of India lends money to the commercial bank. So for example, if SBI wants some loan, it will go to RBI and say that I want loan, please give me some loan. And when SBI is going to RBI and asking for loan, RBI will say, okay, fine, I'll give you loan, but you'll have to pay some interest. And what is that interest? That rate of interest itself is repo rate. If the RBI is taking less money from the SBI, SBI will also take less money from the other people. So understand this. So if the RBI is reducing the repo rate, that means the rate of interest will be reduced by the SBI as well, right? So this is something, this is a key monetary policy that is used to control inflation. So if you want to control the inflation, this is what you can do. Okay. The higher repo rate marks borrowing costlier. So if the repo rate is high, the borrowing will become costlier. Means if the repo rate is high, obviously RBI will also charge higher rate of interest and you will have to pay higher rate of interest at the end of the day. So hence inflation will not be controlled, inflation will get reduced. So like this repo rate is going to, change the inflation basically. Right now, what is this particular monetary policy committee? Here we have discussed about who sets this particular repo rate, and this is set by the monetary policy committee. Okay, it is a 6-member body. So this particular monetary policy committee is a 6-member body, right? And it is responsible for setting the repo rate and control inflation and economic growth. And it was established in the year 2016, okay, under the amendment of RBI Act of 1934, following the inflation target framework. So the monetary policy committee has 3 members from RBI. So out of these 3, 3 will be from RBI itself. Okay, 1 will be including the governor and the RBI. I mean, 3 members will be from RBI, including the governor. Means 2 RBI people and 1 will be the governor of that particular RBI, and then you will have 3 external members appointed by the government. Okay, they will meet at least 4 times in a year. These people will go and meet 4 times in a year, and what they will do, they will do discussion whether what should be the repo rate. Okay, with the RBI governor having a casting vote to decide as well. So this is a little bit about what is repo rate, what is monetary policy committee. Sorry. The RBI has projected real GDP growth to 6.7% for 25-26 and increase in 6.4% this year. So we are also expecting 6.4% this year, right? So the estimate, assuming the normal monsoon inflation is expected to decline further gradually. Okay, there are mixed demands that we have. Rural demand is improving while urban consumption remains weak. So rural people are consuming more, but while urban people are consuming very, very less. So this is what we have to understand here. And because of this, there are mixed signals. That is, rural demand continues to uptrend while urban consumption remains subdued due to high frequency indicators, right? So that is why what has happened here is high employment, tax benefits, budgets, and lower inflation are expected to support the household consumption. Anyways, we are seeing that the tax relief is being given and we are also reducing the repo rate. So because of this, maybe we are expecting that people will start doing a lot of purchase. Okay. Currency and external stability as well. The RBI does not target a specific exchange rate, but intervenes in reducing excessive market volatility. So anyways, RBI will not completely come into picture when we are doing exchange rate. But yes, if there is too much, that is when RBI will try to interrupt to, disrupt the volatility rather than targeting any specific exchange rate level or brand. This exchange rate of Indian rupee has determined market forces as well. Okay. Now, Indian forex exchange reserves are around 6,330.6 billion as of January 31st, 2025, covering around 10 months of import. Okay, the account deficit is expected to remain at a sustainable level. Right now, we are at a sustainable level is something that we need to understand. So this is all about repo rate. Why repo rate has been reduced? So that we want to increase the amount of borrowings or to increase the cost, to make sure that the households or the middle class people are able to buy more amount of commodities. That is the reason why we are trying to reduce the repo rate. So this is another important article that we have for today, right? Now, next important article that we have here is private bill seeks sitting of parliament for 100 days a year. So senior opposition member, okay, Derek O. Bevan and Manoj Kumar Jha has proposed bill to mandate a minimum of 100 to 120 parliament sittings annually. So why there is a need of such kind of a bill? Let us see. Declining parliamentary sitting. So there is a lot of decline in parliamentary sitting. A lot of people are not sitting in the parliament. Okay, so the number of parliamentary sitting has significantly reduced over the years. In 1950, the parliament met around 120 to 140 days. Okay, that was in 90s or in 1950. Okay, but this has now declined to somewhere around 60 to 70 days. That means in a year, 60 to 70 days only they will sit, and remaining days they're not going to do any work. This is what has been seen in recent days. Okay, so hence they are expecting us, or what they are saying here is that we should at least sit for 120 to 140 days. So we need to ensure that there is a legislative scrutiny. More sitting would allow better examination of the bill, policies, etc. Strengthening democracy, because obviously these people are elected, their work is to do. So they need to sit and they need to do in a lot of strengthen the democracy. Prevent disruptions. Frequent disruptions led to cost workers, fixed calendars, ensure there is proper legislative functioning. This is what is being suggested as well. Recommendations from the report, the National Commission On review of working of Constitution 2002 and early parliamentary committee have recommended minimum number of sittings as well. They have also told that this is the minimum number of sittings that need to be there. So we need to understand there are a lot of challenges as well. Okay, executive hesitation, opposition coordination, lack of political concerns. A lot of people are not willing to do this, and legislative overload also. More sittings may not be necessarily to translate better lawmaking. So that does not mean they're sitting for 120 days, they're making better laws, right? So what should be the way forward? A fixed parliamentary calendar should be there. Okay, this is the time when they're going to sit, this is the time when they're going to discuss these. Okay, and compensating lost hours. If they are not able to sit for these many hours, they should also compensate for the lost hours. Okay, multi-session model. That means nothing but adding short sessions. So a lot of things can be done in one session itself. So that is multi-session modeling. And incentivizing constructive participation. So introduce a mechanism such as, there will be performance-based evaluation that will be done for MPs and ensuring that there is productivity. So give them some kind of incentive so that they're able to come up with new major lawmaking processes or major decisions which will help in the lawmaking process. This is another important article that we have for today. I'll see you guys in the next current affair lecture. Thank you so much. If you have any comments, please put it in the comment section. Thank you.